All right, we're going to pause on this thought. We're going to try something a little bit tonight. So, we're going to get to the history of tattoos. We're going to set up some of that stuff. We're going to then get to the scripture and what the Bible has to say, leave some parting thoughts. But we're going to transition to our next round of Pepper Poppers. So, Spice Daddy's been doing a segment called Pepper Poppers. We're launching a whole new one. So, I'm going to get out of the way, and you take it.
What's up, my little Pepper Poppers? Now for another countdown of my top 10s. All right, we're going to start out at number 10. This is a top 10 favorite missionaries of mine. Bet you never thought you'd see
Missionaries!
that. Missionaries. Yeah, I don't think... I think we always talk about missionaries, and I've talked about a little bit in the past how everybody wants to know a missionary.
By the way, can I be your hype man for this?
Oh,
can
yes,
I be like
100%?
Okay.
100%.
Right.
You're gonna have to drink some hot sauce though.
No, it's not happening. Okay. I gotta talk.
So I'm gonna start out
Missionaries.
Start out number 10.
Number 10.
This might work better than the hot sauce.
I know. Number 10.
So let's get it started in the right way.
Top 10. Top 10.
Not too spicy, but good old fashioned. Just some Louisiana hot sauce. It's good on just about everything. Not too spicy. Good flavor. This is where we're starting.
So wait, I need to ask for the audience just for some context. So we're gonna do 10, 9, 8. That's your that has a certain hot sauce qualification.
Right.
And then as we get to 1, they get spicier or just better.
They're getting spicier and better.
Okay, spicier
because spicier is better.
Yeah.
Okay. Spice Daddy. This is Spice Daddy.
That's right. My number 10. Good solid base foundation of the movement, the Apostles.
Number 10, the Apostles.
And the Apostles, a lot of us think, oh yeah, you probably thought I was going to put them at number 1. The Apostles mean a lot.
They're not number 1.
They mean a lot to the faith. But, you can only get so close to somebody's history and only know a little bit about them.
I mean, of everyone in this list, they were friends with Judas.
This is true.
Drops them to 10.
But as we'll find out in some of these people, they made some bad decisions. But let's proceed. So the Apostles, just kind of want to go through some of them. And I'm not going to so much focus on their ministries there, but I kind of want to just kind of delve into where they went and
how they died.
And maybe how they died. But more than likely... I want to say more focus on how far out they went, because a lot of these will kind of surprise a lot of people, I think. You had Asia Minor, so like Turkey, or let's start out in Judea and Samaria. So obviously Peter, John, Philip, James, Thaddeus, and Matthias or Matthew
stayed close to home.
Judea and Samaria. Asia Minor, which would be like Turkey and that area.
The Ottoman Empire.
You had Peter, Andrew, John, Bartholomew. Greece, Andrew made it all the way. And this is where it really starts getting interesting. India. Thomas, possibly Bartholomew, made it all the way to India.
India.
And you got to understand, as an archaeologist, we're always finding the Silk Road and the trade between these countries. These weren't some far off, necessarily just out in the boonies. They were well known.
There's an entire Christian community in India today that still claims to be descendants. Of
so
Thomas.
a lot of if you ever meet an Indian and they have a name that's more like anglicized or something that doesn't sound Indian, that they come from that Christian region.
They have there's the tomb of Thomas, I think.
That's correct.
It's a whole community of doubters, though.
Which leads me to
did you get that? Did you?
Yeah.
Did you get it? Okay. Yeah.
Armenia, you have Bartholomew and Thaddeus. Persia, you had Thomas, Matthew, Simon, Thaddeus. Thaddeus got around.
I mean, if your name's Thaddeus.
That's true. Ethiopia, Matthew, possibly Matthias, and Simon. Here's one you don't really think about. Spain. James had there's a long tradition in Spain that James, son of Zebedee, per later tradition, he went to Spain. And then Peter, obviously in Rome. Scythia, which is like Ukraine and that area. You have Andrew, and then Egypt and North Africa, Simon. and then possibly James. And there are some, it's not verifiable, but there are some theories.
Traditions.
There's
church
traditions and theories that one of them made it possibly all the way to England.
So number 10 is we have the apostles, meaning that they took Jesus' commission to take the gospel into the world very seriously.
That's right.
Let me just, and this was my role in this whole deal. If you'd like to learn more about the apostles and where they went, what they did, I want to give you two books, two good books that you can find easily on Amazon. Like, the standard for this stuff is a book that was actually published in 1563 by John Fox. It's called Fox's Book of Martyrs. There's been many revisions and updates for the language, but Fox's Book of Martyrs is like, it's kind of the baseline for study on the apostles, like the early church fathers, what they did, where they went, how they died. All these guys were martyred for their faith, in sometimes brutal ways. And then if you're looking for like a more updated book to learn about the apostles and their missionary endeavors, Sean McDowell, 2015, who's a Christian apologist, he wrote the book. It's lengthy. It's called The Fate of the Apostles, Examining the Martyrdom Accounts of the Closest Followers of Jesus. And so those are the two books that if you'd like to learn more about number 10, the apostles, you can do so. Moving on.
Bringing it back home to my home state of Georgia, someone that had a big influence that a lot of us don't think about.
Next, Papa!
That would be George Whitefield. George Whitefield had a controversial history.
Like most of Georgia!
That's true. For those of you that are not from America or don't know anything about the southern United States, Georgia, pre-revolution, was originally established as a prison colony.
Penal colony.
Yep.
Oglethorpe.
So that's why we have so much in common with the Australians. We're crazy rednecks that like to barbecue.
Yep.
Anyway.
Most of us have been in jail.
Right. So George Whitefield got to be friends with John Wesley and his brother.
Charles.
Yep.
Chuck Wesley.
They were big characters within the First Great Awakening, which happened pre-Revolutionary War. So this is the time when we were still a colony. And so George Whitefield, he was an actor in England, did a lot of plays and stuff like that. His father died and he became a Christian, started hanging out with the Wesleys. And then they invited him to the U.S. to start preaching. And so he spent a significant amount of time in Savannah. Between 1738 and 1765, he established an orphanage and some other places. But I mean, he preached. A lot of churches wouldn't let him preach, which I found very interesting. So he'd preach on courthouse steps and stuff like that. Outdoors, yeah. And he would draw in thousands.
And people could hear him. That was the amazing thing.
People would come to see George Whitefield preach and hear the gospel. And I can't give you the good without giving you the bad. George Whitefield was a slave owner, and he was a proponent of that at the behest of John Wesley. Or is that the right word? That's the wrong word. No, he did not want. John Wesley was fully against it, and Whitefield did not follow that thing. So it kind of just goes to show you that the times, but not just the times, but like people are fallen. They're sinful, and we can fall into that.
I heard a great quote that fits to that we should never forget that the best of men are still men at best.
Yeah.
And that just, again, you can go back to Martin Luther, the founder of the Reformation, was also a complete anti-Semite. So like there's a checkered history, and that's a part of it.
That's not to say that we should throw out the baby with the bathwater. George Whitefield brought many people to Christ.
What I like about Whitefield, if I could jump in there, is that so with the apostles, we have missionaries going to foreign places, right? But people got to realize that George Whitefield was a missionary to his own kin, just in a different place.
And just kind of bring that home to me, not just my home state, but like my family's been in Georgia for a long time. So I guarantee you I had some kin back then that would have heard George Whitefield speak.
Amazing.
Here in Georgia.
Well, before you get to the last of the three here, before you get to number 8, let me give you guys just, if you're interested in learning more about George Whitefield, there is kind of the like the number one full, complete examination of the life of George Whitefield, written by Arnold Dallimore. It's a 2-volume set. It's titled The Life and Times of the Great Evangelist of the 18th Century. Again, it's 2 volumes. It's very academic, but it's like, you want to know about George Whitefield? That's where you go. If you're like, I don't want to know that much about George Whitefield, but I like a taste. 1972, John Pollock wrote George Whitefield and the Great Awakening. And so it's a small book, but gives you a good taste. And there's quite a bit of like George Whitefield sermons, personal journaling included in that book as well. So missionary number 8.
All right, let's move it on to number 8.
I just said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bringing it into more modern times, Jim Elliot. You're probably thinking to yourself, I've heard that name before.
Jimbo.
Don't know where it's from.
His buddies call him Jimbo.
That's right.
We don't know that for sure.
We don't, but
yeah.
I would have.
Yeah, I would have too.
You've probably seen
Slimmy Jim.
You've probably
Might have been a
seen.
nickname.
You've probably seen the movie Gates of Splendor or Into the Spear. It's the most recent movie that's based on this story.
His wife is very famous. That's Elizabeth Elliot, but you're focusing on Jimbo.
Jim Elliot. And the reason why
Can we call him Jimbo?
Let's call him Jimbo.
Okay.
All right. So Jimbo.
I wish we could have changed the graphic right then where it said
yeah,
Jimbo. That would have been great.
All right. So Jimbo, he was a. I can't do it. Anyway,
Okay, same with Jim Elliot.
He was He was an American missionary. And before I get started, I just want to shout out to my American fellow citizens. We are the number one right now, and we have been for a while the number one sender of missionaries in the world. So like us or hate us, we put a lot of money and effort and personnel into mission.
It's the church.
Field.
We're the Church of Philadelphia and the 7 letters to the churches, the sending church.
Probably
the
yeah.
missionary church, yeah.
And so he was, and this is coming from an anthropological standpoint for me, is
big words,
right? I'm just trying to use some big words before we get into Creighton's.
No, I understand.
Creighton's thing.
Yeah. Small words.
And so he was sent to the Huarani people, or
man, you get that one out.
Aka people.
Man, you get those words out well.
Yeah. So I guess I could call them Native American people of Central and South America, in Ecuador. He went down there. He was focused on them. They were an isolated tribe. And so it started out, he would drop some stuff by airplane, gifts and stuff like that. And in January 3rd of 1956, he landed on a sandbar in the middle of a river, and he was trying to contact them with the purposes of presenting the gospel to them, and they killed him.
Him and several others, right?
Yeah. And if you've never seen Into the Spear, which is the most recent one of this, or Gates of Splendor, there's also another movie which I had never seen, Shadow of the Almighty. It's a story of this, but I think it's so cool to see this aspect of somebody that's willing to go talk to people about this, knowing that there's a possibility of
which was it was a strong possibility.
Strong
These were
possibility.
Uncontacted, hostile group
right.
of people.
And initial friendly contact, they killed him anyway. And I think if you go back later on, because his wife and his I want to say his daughter or son continued to go back there, and eventually the whole tribe was saved.
Well, that's the story, is because of the first contact.
Right.
Elizabeth Elliot, his wife, was able to continue the ministry in her in her husband's name, and she went and was actually able to bring the gospel. Like, his death created a way
right
where they could have life, which is such a cool thing.
And forgiveness from that.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest thing when you listen to the story of the
Jim Elliot's a boss.
The tribal elder there that was part of that killing. Like, his repentance from that was was big.
Yeah.
And it just kind of opened it up. I mean, he was only 28 when he died, and
That's crazy, isn't it?
And
he had a wife with kids, and
wife
he
with
went
kids.
yeah, wow.
And one of his journals, and I just thought this was cool. Famous quote: "He is no fool who gives what he cannot keep to gain what he cannot lose."
Wow.
And as someone that's been to different countries where and met different missionaries and stuff like that, like this just kind of sets the stage for the mission life in general. Like the missionaries, the vast majority of missionaries that are out there doing good work, doing what the Lord's called to them, they know the risks, they know what they're there for, and they're willing to go to that end.
Well, let me give two quick books if you want to. There's several movies, great movies. Again, this was recent enough that like theatrically, like there's some really good. You can learn a lot about Jim and Elizabeth Elliot. Through the Gates of Splendor is a book that was written by Elizabeth Elliot, which tells the story, the whole story. There's also a lesser known book, but I think is equally powerful, and it's the Journals of Jim Elliot. It was edited by his wife Elizabeth, but you can actually read the journaling of Jim Elliot, which is again, if you're interested in this stuff, would be wonderful. So, quick recap, and then a swig of hot sauce, and we're moving back to tattoos.
No, hot sauce is only done at the beginning.
Oh, it's only done at the beginning.
Only done at the beginning.
Oh, is it? Okay.
This is what I.
All right, that's what it is.
The Lord, God wills it.
God wills it. So let it be written.
Number 10.
So let it be done.
Number 10, the Apostles.
Number 10.
Number 9, George Whitefield.
Number 9.
And number 8 is Jim Elliot. Or Jimbo.
Number 8, Jimbo. Which we'll meet in heaven. He'll be like, don't ever call me Jimbo again.